Welcome to our Tuesday weather update. Hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you for joining us. Well, we're tracking a gradual warming up, drying out, and calming down of our weather as we head in towards the end of this week. But before that arrives, we've got a little bit of a cool down coming with another surge of, well, maybe thunderstorms and downpours and some cooler air coming up the country around Wednesday and Thursday. So let's get into it. At the moment, on the animated wind map, I've added the air pressure because this sums up our weather pattern at the moment and pretty much for the rest of November. This is the pattern we've had all this month. High pressure to the north for the most part, low pressure down here to the south, which you can see in the blue-purple colouring. So this is pretty much the setup for the rest of November, and what it does is it encourages rain out over Tasmania, and that rain comes straight in to the west coast. But you go a little further north and it's dry, and a similar story here. We've had a little bit of rain coming into the North Island, mostly up to about Taranaki and Waitomo. Then you go north of that and it's becoming a little drier than average. Same story out in the east. In fact, the northeast of both islands are getting a little bit dry. So what does that all mean as we go through Wednesday? Well, it means another little front comes on in with a few showers, but the further north it goes, the more it falls apart and dries out. And if you're over here in the northeast, or the northeast of this part of the island, you're likely to have a mostly, if not completely, dry day. Now, we do have some showers coming through here with a colder change, and on top of that, daytime heating, and yes, there is the risk of a couple of thunderstorms. This is the forecast. It's a little hard to see, but the blue, when it gets brighter, that is a risk of some thunder. So there could be some thunderstorms that bubble up around Canterbury on Wednesday afternoon, and elsewhere it's a pretty low risk. So the moderate risk seems to be around Canterbury and maybe parts of Otago later into the day. Now let's go to Thursday. As high pressure finally starts to roll in, and I mentioned a warming up and a drying out of our weather, well, this does both. It dries things out as it moves in, so a couple of showers linger out in the east and one or two around Fiordland and Stewart Island. Otherwise, most of New Zealand is dry, and then the winds start to change. They're coming out of Australia, they're coming out of the subtropics, and they're coming up and over the ranges. So Thursday sees a bit of a warm up, but really as we head into Friday, we get a bigger warm up as that high pushes in further. So subtropical weather, Australian airflow coming down, and then over the ranges is a brisk nor'wester in many areas. So that means nice and warm, but a bit windy as we end the working week. And the southwest flow that comes into the North Island, we've seen this a couple of times recently. It's a little bit weird to have it 2 or 3 times in a row, but the southwester is fairly mild because it is really coming out of Australia. So a mild end to the working week, and as we head into the weekend, no great deal of change. High pressure is in control. We've got mild winds circling around it, but a little bit of rain does come into Fiordland and southwestland during the day. And we've also got a subtropical low that is worth keeping a little eye on, but I think it should stay offshore because on Sunday, the high is still there, the low hasn't changed much, and most of the country is dry. We've got the Auckland Santa Parade on Sunday, so we're hoping that the weather is nice and dry. The high at the moment looks like it'll be around 22 or 23 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud, so that's a nice forecast. A couple of showers though on Sunday move up the South Island, and there's a little bit of a cooler change, not a major one, because when you track the origins, it's still coming out of Australia. So plenty of warm weather on the way for New Zealand. In saying that, we've got some cold weather this week, and that actually means we'll get a little bit of snow up on the Southern Alps. That's all from me. We'll see you again on Wednesday.